What is up, guys? It's Janine. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little different than what most of you on my channel are used to, but I think it's going to be a good one. So we've got a little visitor here. All right, so 2 years ago, I posted a video on how I remodeled this kitchen for under $250. Basically, what I did was I painted over old oak, honey oak, ugly cabinets with a nice white, bright finish that you see behind me now. It's been 2 years, so I wanted to do not only an update video to show you how they've held up, but I also want to go over just like the Cliff Notes version of all of the products that you need in order to do this project yourself, as well as some tips and tricks for completing the project. And now that it's been 2 years, is there anything I would have done different? So I'm going to go over all of those things. Stay tuned. Like I said, this is a summary video, but if you want to see the details of me actually like doing the project, I'm going to link that video right up here. Take a look at that video. It shows everything step by step of us actually doing the project, so it'll take any guesswork out of it for you. But again, this is kind of like the Cliff Notes version of just the basics of everything you need to know so that you can tackle this project yourself. All right, first up, let's talk about how it's holding up. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's literally the best thing that I could have ever done. In fact, it held up so well that I went on to do a few other projects in my house using the same technique. So basically, I did my fireplace mantle that I'll put up right here so you guys can take a look at that. And then I also did my coffee bar, which was in my TV room as well. So I did the coffee bar and the mantle, and I also did my my bathrooms as well, because I'm just not in a place where I can fully remodel all of these things right now. So it really did make a huge difference though. It really did. 2 years later, I'm still loving it. It held up perfectly. I had no issues with peeling, just really no issues at all. The paint that I use is very easy to clean, and I would definitely recommend, if you have cabinets that you don't love, to try this, you guys. It really made more of a difference than I ever thought possible. Now, if you are familiar with my previous video, or if you do have a chance to take a look at that, I also ended up doing my floors. As you can see behind me, I did redo the tile because I also had some really hideous floors. So obviously that was a bit more expensive, but with the cabinetry change and the flooring, it really did give the home just a really open, remodeled look on a budget, you guys, on a major budget. So I do recommend that if you're considering doing your cabinets, do it and use my method because it was easy and less mess, and I highly recommend it. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about what that method is. So first up, what I really did was I painted over lacquered cabinets without sanding them. I removed an entire step. That step was stopping me from doing this because a lot of people have asked me on that other video, like, why didn't you sand? Sanding is a huge undertaking. Not only is it very tedious and difficult, and it's going to add extra time onto the project, it is going to create a dust storm in your house that'll probably be there for years to come. And so that is just something I wanted to avoid. Like I said before, I have a high traffic household with multiple dogs, and it would just be really difficult to do a project like that. And that is why I didn't do the project much sooner than I should have. So I started to do a little research and realized that I could actually repaint these cabinets without that step at all by using this particular product, and I'm going to put it up on the screen. It's called Crud Cutter. All it is, you guys, is it cleans the cabinets. And I want to point out that I want to set your expectations for what this product actually does. It doesn't actually remove the lacquer. So if you're rubbing the product on, expecting it to remove the shine, that's not going to happen. But it does create a very, a good surface for you to then prime. So because of this product, you can actually do this project without sanding. So now let me take you to step one. So like the very first thing you're gonna wanna do, you guys, is remove all of the doors. So you're gonna wanna remove the doors, and this is a very important step that you do not want to miss. You're gonna wanna create like a diagram of your kitchen cabinet and label the doors so that you know what opening they go to. I know you think you'll remember, or you think it will be obvious. I promise you it will not be obvious. So that's very important. What I did was I just put a piece of tape on the actual door, like a piece of painter's tape with the number, and then I tied that to my diagram that, you know, numbered the space that the door belonged to. So number 2 goes to number 2, number 1 goes to number 1. It was very simple. It made reassembly very easy. I also, now this is if you are going to keep the same hardware, you're also going to want to label the hardware, because even though if you think the hardware is all the same, if you don't label it, even minuscule differences, the hardware suddenly will no longer fit and no longer work. So not only do you have to know where the door goes back, you'll also need to know what specific hardware goes to that specific door. So I used Ziploc baggies for that, and I numbered them. So each door had a numbered, here's another one of my dogs. This is why I can't do projects around here. My house is crazy. But each door had a Ziploc bag with a number on it, and that was the hardware that belonged to that door. So very first thing you're going to do is remove all of the doors, make sure everything is labeled, and you're going to want to remove it and take it to wherever your working place is going to be, whether you're going to do it in your garage or you're going to do it in your backyard. I did it in my backyard. So that is the first step. Okay. The second step is you're just going to take like warm water and wipe down all of your cabinets. You're gonna wanna make sure there's no like cooking grease on there, just any dirt, any grime, any buildup. You're just gonna wanna clean it off with like a warm cloth. And I got this huge pack of cloths from Amazon, and I'll link them up here. I'll actually link everything that you need down in the description as well. But I took those cloths, washed everything, each door and the frames, right? So I did all of that. That's the next step. Then takes me to that product I was talking about called Crud Cutter. So with Crud Cutter, you just take the sponges, and I'll link those here. And so you take those sponges and dip them into a little tray with where you've poured in the Crud Cutter, and you just basically wipe that all over the surfaces everywhere, every cabinet surface that you're going to paint. So the main cabinets, and then the cabinet doors that you removed, the drawers, whatever it may be, you basically just wipe that onto those surfaces with the sponge. You do not need to go rigorously like you're sanding it. You basically just a coat and just kind of like give it a nice, like you're washing a pot, you know, like you're washing a pot and pan, something like that. You're not sanding it. And don't expect for the gloss to come off. You're just giving it, you know, like a once over. And then you're going to let that fully dry. And then you're on to the next step, which is primer. And this is an important step as well. And this is also a step that is why you do not need to sand. There is a specific special kind of primer that you're going to want to get. It's a very sticky, like adhesive primer, and I will link the exact one that I use, as well as a couple of others that I found that also work, because I've used 2 different kinds as I did additional projects and, you know, in my home. So I will link those down, but the primer is very important because it's going to give the surface like a tacky finish. You only need 1 coat of primer. So you're just gonna you're gonna slap up the primer, and it's gonna kind of look like chalk when it dries. It gives it like a chalky finish. You're gonna want that to fully dry. Now I would wait until like the next day, and then you're ready to paint. So in terms of paint, you basically use like cabinet and trim and door paint, high gloss, in whatever color you're using. I did bright white door and trim paint from Home Depot, nothing special. Again, I will link it. And that's it. Once you do 2 coats of paint, you reassemble everything. And if you've got everything labeled and you know, the hardware labeled, and you know where the doors go, reassembly is actually very easy. Again, like I said before earlier in this video, if you want to see this whole process happening, take a look at that other video. But it's really very simple. So I wanted to now go over some of the things I wish I had done that I didn't do. for one, I thought that this wouldn't come out as good, to be completely honest. I thought it was going to be a very temporary fix, and I really was going to have to bite the bullet and do a full kitchen remodel. And so there's a couple of things I cut corners on. Number one, I would have, in hindsight, done the insides of my cabinets. I did not do the insides. I just did the outside. So I didn't take everything out and also paint the inside. I would have done that. So if you're on the fence on that and you think that this is going to be something you're going to keep for a few years, I recommend doing the inside as well. That's number one. Number two, I would have probably switched out my hardware. I did get new hardware for not the hinges. I didn't get new hinges, but I did get new knobs. I would have just used different hardware. Kind of just a design change, really. I did. These were new, but I kept the hinges the same, and I probably would have switched that. But I just wanted to eliminate the work. And like I said, I just didn't think that it was going to last this long. And so I thought I didn't think I was going to love it as much. So now that I love it this much, I'm actually considering doing a new backsplash or just brand new countertops and backsplash altogether. Because the big kitchen remodel is probably not happening for like about 5 more years. So anyways, I'm going to link everything that I used in the description. If you are on the fence about doing this project, I highly recommend it. I definitely recommend eliminating the sanding, getting that crud cutter, investing in a good primer, and you're good to go. You will not regret it. It will completely give your kitchen a whole new look. And it'll feel like you remodeled your kitchen, and it's literally on a budget. So hopefully this little update video, will motivate you guys to do it, because I know so many of you have reached out to me because that video kind of went viral. I have like over 200,000 views on that video. So many people reach out to me with questions. So I think that I've covered a lot of those questions that I got. And a lot of people want to know how it's holding up. You guys, it's holding up beautifully. It looks just like it did when I first did it, and I couldn't be more happy with it. So thank you so much for your support on that video. Let me know if you do try it. I'm so excited. I love hearing people that tried it and they love it, and they're just so excited about their kitchen like I was. So let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if you have any questions. Happy to answer any questions you may have that'll help you kind of like get underway with this project. It took a total of 4 days, and I did have the help from my brother. So in terms of time, I basically broke it up and did a little bit each day. And so that's probably the best way to kind of like tackle the project. It is a large undertaking, I'm not gonna lie, but if you think about it, if you can get a whole new kitchen in 4 days, I mean, like, that's totally worth it, right? So anyways, thank you so much, guys. I will see you on the next one.